First map is Overgrowth. It is going to be loser's pick for this tournament, folks. So, while the map's preset for each round, we kind of figured everybody's going to pick Overgrowth. Let's just cut out the middleman. So, without further ado, spotted here in the top right corner of the map. He's currently teamless, living in Korea. It's living the dream, quite frankly. It's the Green Protoss player state.
In the bottom left, as the red Terran, it's YoDa.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we got some cool graphs to go through, but again, still beta feature and all this other junk. But guys, let's not focus on that. YoDa is, pardon me, I definitely say favored coming into this, whether it's State's lack of confidence or whether it's the fact that YoDa is kind of a badass. One thing's for certain is this will not be an easy matchup for State. Is it possible for him to win? I would say absolutely. But if he tries to go macro game every single time, I don't think he keeps up with YoDa's late game.
I'd agree with that. YoDa, though, kind of a hot and cold type of player right there. Sometimes he's actually really good and he gets to like the semis or the finals or something like that in a tournament. And other times you're like, was he in that tournament? Oh, he got knocked out in like the round of 32, the round of 64. Oh, okay.
Awkward.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, you know, it's up to also, is YoDa hot or cold? But honestly, even if he was cold, State just, I don't want to brag on the guy.
You're in when you're out.
No, no, that's actually one of
love that
first
song.
songs, in my opinion. Anyways, I don't want to brag on State too much, but it's like,
well, actually,
I keep
apparently we
expecting.
should. We have Holly
Why?
Molly with some insider information here. Apparently, he drinks with soju by himself earlier, so that's why he needed the coffee to help sober up just a little smidge.
Oh well, God. Well, then that's gonna hurt. Just
That's super good luck, have fun mode engaged is what that is. Although, like, honestly, all jokes aside, like that may affect his like inhibition. Like normally it's like, oh, I don't really want to go for a blink, but maybe this time because F it, right? And
Yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna be honest, like early aggression versus Terran, oh my God, hero versus bomber during IEM, just partying versus anybody, like early game stalker pressure has been just wondrous for Protoss lately.
that's true. But State, you know, could also affect like anything else about his play. Like I'm watching a stream right now just because I think it's interesting too when they stream this, which by the way he is, if you want to check out the personal stream.
Well, that's cool.
To see if maybe it's like, you know, kind of like dragging and not in a good way. He's not.
Well, the one request we do have, guys, is we don't force players to use a delay. We do it as a tournament. It's a courtesy to everybody. So if you do go check out State Stream, and again, absolutely do it. Just don't bring spoilers back to the chat as our one request. You will get timed out for that.
Yeah,
But curiously enough, like State, I mean, he's chronoing at the stalker. He's going for that poke. I mean, we talked about small amounts of aggression, and I mean, this is, without a bunker down already, a pain to deal with.
Yeah.
Although this
I mean,
do you think this will finish in time for the stalker?
I think it'll be fine. This is no longer a case where things start to snowball. You know, it wasn't really that fast of a zealot or anything like that, so maybe he'll get the SCV, but other than that, there's going to be 3-4 Marines out, and the militia corps is not here.
They're going to have to get the SCV, though. Needs to keep this one going down. You know, that pro harassment really starting to pay off. Those SCVs like one-shot range instead of 3-shot, 2-shot, whatever. So, the Marines, yeah, they're going to kite around a bit. But the bunker will complete behind this, which is, I think, the biggest of deals. So, a little bit sad that State won't be able to just run rampant here, but he can run past this bunker. I mean, the Zealot's already through. Oh my God, it's at 2 health. The SCV could execute this.
Yeah. He could have, and he might have even be able to get out, like, if he was really good at dancing, but there wasn't much use to it. You know, if he was following up with a 4-gate, really applying a lot of pressure, hoping to start the snowball rolling, okay, go ahead. But otherwise, that's your stalker that's supposed to be your map vision, potentially, and probably dead.
Well, we didn't get the Twilight Council down. He went straight for that Robo, so kind of standardized play coming out of State. One thing I do find a bit interesting, though, is the Mothership Core is coming out really late. So the priority swap around here is like you go for the Mothership Core earlier so you get the Photon Overcharge sooner. You know, you're able to have more energy and thus 2 overcharges for when the Terran player pushes. By taking this a little bit later, he might only have the 1 available for the initial poke. But the trade-off is, of course, you get your tech rolling faster. You get the Robo down much sooner. The Colossus come out faster. We'll see just how this comes into play.
YoDa playing a little safe here. Of course, he did go for that CC opener, so he's never Reaper to throw around and scout. So it's a good choice. Gets a bit of an early engineering pay and goes for the at least 1 missile turret. So if State was going for DT drops, okay, well then the command center in the main is under a lot of, it's under a lot of stress, but otherwise, it takes care of oracles, and it's one safe position for DTs. Because I don't even... Oh, it is though the Nexus is down, but still.
I feel like in PvT, or, well, I guess Terran perspective more importantly, there's like this big checklist you have to do, like, as you go through the game. Like, okay, your macro, whatever, like 13, this, that. But it's like, okay, make sure I don't die to oracles, check. Make sure I don't die to stalker pressure, check. Like, then get to the mid game, check.
Yeah, I'd say that's certainly true. And especially if you're playing kind of blind, he does go ahead and throw down a scan here, and he sees robotic space, so that's everything he needs to know. I mean, the missile turret at the natural isn't the worst thing. Maybe it'll help out against future DTs or a Warp Prism, which State is actually investing into. We see, like, Protosses who do Warp Prism shenanigans are, like, my favorite Protosses. Like, that's how I fall in love with... Actually, I think that's why I really like State to begin with. Like, a year ago or whatever on Belshir, he was the one that did that. A lot of Warp Prism openers versus Terran, but I feel like they kind of fallen off. Other than the kind of rare, but still see it, the Colossus drop, which has been coming into play.
I was going to say, I hope that's going to be the case here as we wait for Mo to jump in, because in IEM San Jose, we watched Hero wreck Bomber with just like this mild harass of a Colossus plus a Warp Prism, but looks like the Colossus is, well, it's rallied way the hell over here, so maybe it'll meet up with a Warp Prism?
Yeah,
it seems weird to do it like this.
I didn't think this was that specific build. I don't do it myself, so I'm not 100% sure on it, but I was like, doesn't the Colossus come out first? Or I can't remember.
Well, I mean, I guess the order technically is not the biggest deal, but it is a question of like whether this is a misrally because the Warp Prism was rallied here earlier. If he's just looking to bulk these up at home for the follow-up. I mean, this Warp Prism very well could just be 4 Zealots, go to the mineral lines, try and keep YoDa at home, and it looks like that's going to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we don't see it often, so I think I've seen like 3 games so far, but the most popular, quote-unquote, map to do the Colossus drop on is Nimbus, because you have that little outlying edge on the natural, and it's really useful. So I would have been surprised to seen it on Overgrowth, but, then again, it could have possibly still worked out. But the Warp Prism Harass, as State is doing it, is kind of the one that we don't see anymore. Warp Prism Harass as an opener just seems to be the Colossus drop, or you just don't do it anymore. But this will definitely prove useful. It'll keep YoDa going back. He actually can kill that SCV with his probe if he sees it. Yeah,
or just throw a pylon down. Either way, this drop does get, or not even a drop, this push rather gets scouted. The observer's nicely positioned there. We do have an Immortal. This is so uncanny to see this early. This will help out a lot versus those Marauders. Immortals just shell Marauders alive. Like these 3 Marauders, 5 Marauders, they could usually kill a Colossus, but not if they've got to dive through the Immortal.
All the upgrades are finishing up here for States. We'll have Blink. He can kind of, I don't know if he's looking to kind of bait YoDa into trying to drop or what, but YoDa, he scans, happens to miss the Observer.
Yeah, just barely. Of course, the biggest reason you scan like that too, even if it's blind, is you just want to see, like, okay, does my opponent know I'm picking up? Does he know I'm getting ready to drop? And State's got a pretty good idea this is coming. You saw that push out there in the front, it disappeared. He's loaded up his own Warp Prism in the bottom left while this goes on. Been a pylon coming as well. There are pylons all over the map right now. But for YoDa's sake, like, he sees the stalkers, good move, pulls back. I mean, Blink's not quite done, but you don't want to risk it. That's 2 medevacs that go down before they even unload their cargo.
Yeah. I really wish State had taken down that SCV building the 3rd command center.
It would have seriously bought him a lot. I mean, this orbital would not be up right now.
Yeah, and it's super annoying.
does YoDa, by the way, not realize there's a probe right here? Like, State, please make a pylon. Just
man, he has one in the bottom right. Building one now at this location probably won't be worth it, as the reinforcements have been a gathering at the natural.
That's true. So it's not going to quite draw the entire army back home. But State's Warp Prism so far, like, it's not something it's not a user to lose a situation. Keeping it here, waiting for those Vikings to be out of position entirely, waiting to get a warp in when YoDa's out of position at home defensively. Like, that's great. But I really feel like not going to be able to warp anything in. Like, everything he's going to need is going to be at home. The army at home is actually quite meager when you look at it. These Vikings are going to truck those Colossus pretty easily.
And we do have the SCV pool as well, so this...
Oh, pulling the boys? Yeah.
State has to go in with the Warp Prism now.
This is such a bad position for the Colossus. They cannot be out here for this fight.
Yeah, he does go back home, and can he force field off Overgrowth with only 1 sentry?
I don't know. But I'm liking the Immortal count makes into this. We'll see if it's going to be enough. It's a hell of a lot of units to chew through. If he had more force fields, it would definitely go a lot easier for State. The photon overcharge goes down, but those the Colossus follow the Vikings like it's nothing at all. Now relying on Colossus and Immortals, it's not going to cut it. State's in a lot of trouble. Well, he does have a Warp Prism. It's not even unloading.
Yeah, that was just doomed to fail.
Several kinds of messy.
You know, if anything that he had, like the upgrade just finished, maybe if he had to get into charge as opposed to a Templar Archives, or if he had Archons. I don't know.
Archons would have been nice, but yeah, he didn't go down the tech tab for it, so. Not in the cards for State. A brutal decimation of his base. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Zelter chasing around a bit, but as you see the reinforcements landing the Vikings, got a couple Marauders out. That's going to be game. And game number 1 will go to YoDa.